So we have a situation going on in my neck of the woods right now. And I actually knew about this from one of my former coworkers, we'll just say, at an old company from way back in the day. And I'm friends with him on social media. And he posted a video of what happened, which is just outside of downtown San Diego. So this all took place there a couple days ago. And I almost covered it when it happened. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to talk about it because it's one of those things that I don't want to draw attention to it in San Diego because San Diego is not like this. And for the most part, it's not.
I know, it's been a whole day since the last one, but it's happened again.
This scene from San Diego doesn't even look like America anymore, but it's exactly what I voted for. As ICE conducted a surprise raid on a restaurant.
How about that?
Doesn't even look like America anymore, but it's exactly what I voted for.
There are so many people that feel this way. Yes, thank fucking God we're finally dealing with these psychos.
And the problem with this happening now in San Diego is now it's starting to almost start to create a division between friendships, relationships, people you know, people you've talked to for a while. Politics start to get involved, and that people that are hardcore lefties, I've learned, they do not tolerate, ironically, the party of tolerance, as they always push it. If you don't agree with what they stand for, you are basically dead to them, which is, it's crazy, but that is how they react to stuff of what I've seen. And they will readily throw away a friendship after decades of being cool with you for having a disagreement over what's happening right now. And this is why this stuff really is bad for an area. It's like this is the law being enforced. This is what I voted for. And these people melt down when you say that. It's like, no, enforce the law of the country, enforce the Constitution, and come into the country legally. That's fine. I'm totally cool with as many immigrants as we want to bring in here legally. But we can't have just a no holds barred Wild West, just whatever, who it is, come on in. Some people aren't paying taxes, but they're also taking full advantage of the health insurance, and they're not paying insurance on stuff. Like, it's a shit show. Why do some people need to pay all these things and do everything right, and then other people get paid under the table, don't pay any taxes, and can take full advantage of healthcare if they need to? It's a broken system. It's curious, and now they're pushing back.
ICE conducted a surprise raid on a restaurant in San Diego, with the residents getting very upset.
Uh-oh. Apparently they heard that Stephen Miller guy. They were like, okay, all right, we're going to go to the restaurants then.
Even trying to block the cop's car.
There it is. This stuff will only stop, and this type of behavior will only stop when they get arrested. Mm-hmm. Tear gas isn't enough. It's gonna.
Well, the problem is with protesters is there is a very big gray area where this country is amazing because you are legally allowed to protest, and it's almost like the activists have invaded protesting to the point of pushing that to the absolute limits, where they get in the way, they stand in traffic, they stop cars. They're like, well, it's my right in the land of the free to protest, and you are not legally allowed to arrest me because I'm protesting and I'm in America. It's like, well, you still need to follow the laws when you're protesting. Just because you're saying you're protesting doesn't mean you get to like murder someone during a protest. It's like, no, you need to follow the laws, and they don't do that. And the problem is, the police force is afraid to enforce the laws because they don't want to create another George Floyd situation. They don't want to create a martyr for all these people that are trying to be martyrs. So there's a very big gray area of how they're even able to handle this. Tarlo, yeah, you heard about this? Yep. I think we actually chatted about this. It was in North Park, not South Park, as far as I know.
Bother them for like maybe a couple hours, maybe a day or so. Like, I've been maced before. Actually, I've been pepper sprayed before.
What?
My friend got pepper spray, and I said, "Do you know if it works?" He's like, "I don't know. You tell me." And of course, he sprays me with it.
Damn.
Are you pissed? No. Yeah, not really.
Look at that. Look at the fat dude with the camera walking like right by the cops, getting in their way. He's like, hey, I'm walking here. You can't. It's like, dude, you're literally interfering with the police. You can't do that.
Uh-oh.
Loud bangs and smoke filled the air as stun grenades exploded on the streets of South Park. U.S. immigration and
There you go. Tarlo, you were right. I stand corrected. It's South Park. So this is separate than the one that was posted that I saw. Either that or our mutual friend was in South Park for some reason. But I stand corrected. Sorry about that.
You've got to come in and bring in the police and
Well, I
arrest
shouldn't be surprised at South Park either.
these people.
Yes,
in masks.
there is a South Park in San Diego. Yes.
It's only going to stop. These people are only going to stop this behavior when they have a degree of accountability for it. That's the big problem. It's in South Park. Yeah. Truth is stranger than fiction, I guess. And that's the issue. Like, if you have people standing in the way of a police car, well, then they're committing a crime. They're intentionally preventing the police from being able to do their job. Like, just immediately arrest them and charge them with something. Like, I don't even know. Like, why is this even a conversation? This seems like such a simple idea. What's the issue? The problem is they'll go, I told you so. What do you do with that? I'd say you're right. Shouldn't have done it.
Well,
Customs
no,
enforcement agents
I disagree with Aspen here. I think the problem is they're trying to become a martyr, and the police are trying to do their job, and they're trying to get hurt, and they're trying to blame it on the police so that they get famous for it. That I legitimately feel like that is a thought that goes through their head. They might not even think it. It might be like a subconscious thing, but it's going through their head and they're doing it.
devices to scatter the crowd of people blocking their cars and cussing at agents. General Manager Renato Amatrano says agents provided a warrant and scanned everyone's IDs. He believes 3 employees could not provide identification.
So they brought a warrant. They did everything legally, properly, and went in to do their job of what they're assigned to do, following the letter of the law. Where is the issue? Like, I'm still struggling. Why are people mad about this? Like, why can't there be a coherent argument about it? Why do they just say, no, it's bad, ICE is bad, Trump bad? Okay, why? Oh, because you're ripping families apart. Oh, okay. How did they get here? Well, that doesn't matter because they're here now. It's like, well, no, it does matter because you did something illegally and that shouldn't have happened. Like, what the hell?
And were taken away.
It should have been 4 employees. It should have been him being taken away for questioning for how he managed to hire 3 illegal aliens. How is it that you just accidentally hired 3 illegal aliens?
Mm-hmm.
And arrest the people who hire them? Yeah, like, I don't, like, this is the way I see it. I actually don't blame the illegals that much. I think the main fault lies with the business owners.
I strongly agree with that. I think that's God, that's a good one. Okay, yep. Because I've had that conversation with some people in my life about where the blame is. And it's like, how come the store owners or the restaurant owners get off scot-free and they're the ones that are hiring these people? And the people that are getting in trouble are the ones that are illegals. It's like, but they're getting hired. Why? Where's the blame there? What the hell?
Is the illegals are just following the incentive. If I lived in Venezuela or one of these other countries that's like problematic, I would want to come to America too.
Mm-hmm.
I would want more than anything to come to America. And so, like, and why is it? Well, it's because you can get a job here. They are the ones that are enabling it. They create the carrot.
Yep.
So if you don't go after the people making the carrots, then you're never going to solve this problem. Everyone's following that incentive though. Yeah. Do it the legal way though? Well, yeah, of course, right? Like, you can, am I crazy for saying that? Like, I can totally empathize and see why illegal aliens come here. Of course it makes sense. Absolutely. But it's really on the government and it's on these businesses to hold these people
D-stock, 100% tax evasion. Yep.
accountable.
So contrary to what they want you to think, they aren't just shaking
and
down.
Also, what's important in mind is that the people that are doing this, it's about stopping the behavior. Because ultimately, the goal shouldn't be putting people in jail. It should be making a behavior stop happening. And until you hold people personally responsible for hiring these people intentionally and not vetting them intentionally so they can, like plead ignorance, then it's just going to keep happening.
Random brown people in the streets, it seems they're going after specific criminals that haven't turned themselves in, then collecting anybody also undocumented that they discover collaterally.
Yeah, it's AoE damage. You go after one person that's like some sort of like, a predator or whatever, and there's like 4 other people around them that are also illegal. Well, shouldn't have been here.
Also exposes their boss for knowingly employing them and potentially others.
Yeah.
As the Trump administration has already handed out millions of dollars of fines for.
Not enough. Put them in jail. Put them in jail for human trafficking. This will stop overnight. Fines don't work. Fines are nice. And they're, like a traffic fine, like, speeding or whatever. Okay. But like, no. You've got to put people like this in jail. You can't put a business in jail. That's the issue. There is somebody who made the decision not to vet these people. You find out who that person is at the company and you arrest that person.
I mean, that ideally, I think he's boiling it down too simple. Like for this situation, yes, I think it's easy to boil it down to, yes, it's a restaurant. There's an owner and he's the one interviewing and hiring the people. Obviously, it breaks down and you know exactly who the person was. But what happens if it's a bigger corporation with thousands of employees and people are being brought on by multiple interviews and stuff like that, and they happen to be illegals and they're the janitor? How do you pin the blame on someone for the janitor that got hired, or the CNA that's not necessarily qualified in America but does have qualifications in Mexico? How do you get the person that hired them at a bigger company? There are problems.
And you put them in jail. It's the owner. The reason why businesses do these practices that are consumer unfriendly is because they think that they're safe. How to make them stop doing the practices? Take away the safety.
Which is probably why people are pushing back so hard in that neighborhood there, because they know that. At the end of the day, they know the direction this is going, and they're scared. They're very scared.
It's that simple. Again, everything is about incentives.
So someone with a warrant could have used the CBP app to self-deport, get a free ride home, and receive $1,000. But instead, they'll send a couple of their friends home with them. But when the local news outlets report on it, the outrage only seemed to face ICE, as they called it, people in military tactical gear, playing like they're in Afghanistan, just throwing with.
Toxin said, my employer, when I was in Florida, hired people who didn't speak any English. Major corporation. Wow. That's crazy.
People on a nice Friday, although they did indeed detain 2 of the workers, and the restaurant couldn't open for dinner after. So maybe there was a reason they went after that specific restaurant, but they conveniently made that the smallest part of their report. So now more of these fools are contributing to the problem.
Oh, did you guys see this guy? This guy needs to be arrested for what he said here. This is nuts. Just for what he said, this is crazy, what he's telling people to do.
Just watched, listened to the ICE raid.
You're a business owner. Do you really want business owners to be personally liable for anything their business does? Well, that's literally what I just said. Yeah. What do you mean? Would I like? Yes, obviously, because I think that they're ignoring it on purpose. I think that they know that these people, like, here's the question. Do you think that the people that are running these companies and running these restaurants know that the people they're employing are illegal? I think the answer to that is yes. How do you prove intent? Well, with an investigation. You investigate their correspondence. You look at whether they were doing due diligence to make sure that these people were actually American citizens. You see if they had any communication with this person that would indicate that they knew that they were an illegal alien. And then after you do that, you find out whether they're guilty or not.
I mean, I agree. In a perfect world, in a perfect world, this wouldn't be happening. But in a just world, this would all be great. But what Asmongold is explaining and describing here costs a lot of money. And there's a lot of man hours and time and investigation that goes into what are you gonna for a kitchen that has a cook and a guy running the dishwasher that are illegals. You're gonna hire someone from the government to do a full-on investigation of paperwork, emails, everything. Like for that, it feels like bringing a nuclear missile to a conversation. Like I feel like there's got to be some sort of happy middle ground with that, but maybe not.
Not, and then if they are, you put them in jail. It's really simple. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's yeah. What do you mean?
San Diego.
There you go. That's a good point. That's a really good point, D-Stock. That's where it should come back down to too. I was always required to give my social security number for every job. And when I was growing up, I was under the impression that was a requirement. And as you get older, you realize there are some companies that don't require that. And it's like, why don't you require a social security number or a work visa, proof of visa? How can you just hire someone without anything? That's crazy.
Where they took the manager and workers.
Check their paychecks.
And
Yeah.
people stepped up and surrounded ICE, which was great because they did not show a warrant to anybody.
General Manager Renato Amatrano says agents provided a warrant and scanned everyone's IDs.
Got me thinking. We need to.
So this guy's saying that what they did was illegal when it wasn't. They brought a warrant, and he's saying that they didn't. They just came in and raided the place and took the guys out of there, and you can't do that. It's like, nope, they brought a warrant, and the investigation was there. They had everything, ducks were in a row, and this guy's got his own headcanon saying, no, none of that, even though that happened, none of that happened.
Start carrying wire cutters. Here are wire cutters in our pocket. Does it take up much room? Yeah, you can use them for zip ties, but you can also use them for valve stems on.
Do not do this. This is a felony. He's telling people to bring wire cutters with them and zip ties
Vehicle tires.
and pop the tires of government vehicles.
That's crazy that you have, again, another fucking boomer that's actively insinuating that you should cut off the valves and the tires of government vehicles. That's nuts.
That is
so causing an accident. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the
And,
problem.
oh, by the way, you could also not only kill the police officer driving, but you could also put a family in danger of the car hitting the going off road or hitting someone else. Like, these people are fucking insane. Like, what there is a severe mental health crisis in this country. And this going out there with this guy, this is a cry for help. This guy needs to be locked up in a padded room immediately. Like, immediately. This guy needs to be found and padded room with him. He's nuts. You shouldn't need any more proof. This is clearly not a joke. This is clearly not pretending that he's just saying this facetiously. He is 100% serious, and you know he is. This should be all people need to go to a padded room, is this right here.
Problem is that people like this are so cavalier and they feel so safe being able to say stuff like this and promote this type of violent behavior. And this is why things are getting worse. The reason why things are getting worse is because people won't call this out for what it is and hold these people accountable. And because of that, things escalate and they get worse as a result. Like, you could have stopped this from being a problem years ago, but you didn't do that because you were afraid of the pushback. And now it's become an even bigger problem, and there's going to be even more pushback. Kash Patel and Dan Boingo need to go after these people? Yeah. They feel emboldened because the media protects them? Well, the media is not the government. Media.
No, but the media does have influence. As we're learning with this whole Gamergate situation, the media pushes the narrative, and the narrative sways public opinion. So yes, the media, even though they're not the government, they will turn people against the government by being like, ooh, big evil government bad, when the government is just doing the law and enforcing the law, because the media disagrees with the law that exists. And instead of fighting the law, they're fighting the government.
Yeah, can't do shit.
I really believe he thinks he's some sort of crafty freedom fighter, but I'm pretty certain he just committed a felony. As hyper-left Reddit also went in on the situation, writing long mod posts complaining about how many resources went into this, saying, if it can happen to us, it can happen to you again.
That's right, guys. If somebody gets arrested for committing a crime, we shouldn't let that happen, because you too could also get arrested even though you're not committing a crime. What a retarded logic. That's so stupid. As a liberal, these things make me sick. These people are deranged. They do not represent my values as a liberal. Then push back against it more, because the problem is that this is defining their.
I love someone in Asmon's comments said, these people do not represent my values as a liberal. Their entire party is cracked and broken right now, because people are starting to realize that what they were standing on was quicksand. There was no foundation at all. It is a completely broken mess. I said the other day, I wonder if the Democratic Party will get somebody back in power ever in my lifetime. It doesn't look likely currently. I mean, obviously, time changes everything, and eventually, the pendulum swings back. But where it's at right now, it's only going to get worse for the left, because of their insane approach to everything. Everything they do is nonsensical, projection and rhetoric and pushing agendas and ignorant to reality, living in a fairy tale. That's not reality. That's not where people live. Yeah, this guy, Gavin Newsom, zero chance. I mean, literally, Mr. Potato Head is going to beat him out in votes. There's no way. There's no way. If he runs for president and wins, holy shit. I weep for the future of our country, because I'm in California with him right now, and nobody in California that I talk to likes him, respects him, or wants him here. And yet he's still here. So go figure.
Their entire platform.
More fear-mongering, trying to rally their base into action, as there were plenty of posts thanking the people blocking the cops. But then an awful lot of body shaming, talking about
Look at
them
all
being
the fat gravy seals, so brave with their masks.
the gravy seals, which is rich, coming from Reddit,
Yeah.
as they're likely singling out this specific copper, who is admittedly large, but more of a
I feel like that's a pretty big, like, I wouldn't fuck with that guy. I'm going to be honest. Like, I would not fuck with that guy. That's a big guy.
That guy would fucking destroy me.
Yeah. I mean, that's not like, this is a linebacker. Like, this is not, I don't know, man.
a lineman build than anything.
Yeah.
As if I was assembling a squad, I'd take him over.
Mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, like, yes, of course, obviously the furries and femboys on Reddit don't understand that. But yes, there are guys that are heavier, but they're in shape.
Any of these idiots screeching with their phones out. Just because the police show restraint doesn't mean they're afraid.
He's the tank.
Will Fork, one of my all-time favorite Patriots. Yours too, Tarlo, I'm sure.
They're pounding on their chests as if they actually accomplish anything other than increasing the amount of police resources that will be spent on the next raid. As all across the country, work sites like the one in Florida are being raided as well.
Yep.
Holy! That is a lot of people. That is looks like an entire corporation of illegals. Like, did the foreman just go to Home Depot in the morning and just drive to every Home Depot and pick up every single person they could find and bring them to the job site? Because holy shit, that's a lot of illegals, allegedly.
With the local Florida outlets doing montages of women crying.
Could not hold.
I am so glad that we are past the point of giving a fuck about some woman crying about some shit.
Right.
Wow, I'm so sad that my illegal alien husband is being deported after being here, probably committing identity theft and other forms of fraud and illegally entering the country. Mm-hmm. Wow, what a fucking shame.
And potentially not paying taxes, potentially doing other fraudulent things, potentially a lot of other things. But even if the person was doing everything above board, doesn't matter. You're still here illegally. That's the thing. That's like the purpose of entering the country legally is to make sure that you can work for a company without stealing a job from someone who is here legally.
This is such a tragedy. Too bad.
Back her pain.
Who's here surprised that she's not speaking English?
She screams injustice after her husband was placed on an expedited deportation.
No, she screams in Spanish.
Order after showing up to his immigration check-in in Miami. Immigration court attorney Antonio Ramos tells us this is now the new normal.
What I've been seeing is out of the few people, most of them, they have previous crimes.
Where this man's wife also got.
How is it that somebody gets charged, they're found out to be an illegal alien, and they don't just get immediately deported the moment that they get in the cop station?
That's the problem, by the way. Because if you arrest someone, you're here illegally, you're an illegal alien, we got you, dead to rights on everything, and you're set free now. It's like, well, that makes them feel like there's nothing wrong, didn't do anything wrong. And then when Trump comes in, and Trump's like, no, you're actually getting deported now. And then they throw the whole hissy fit, they lose their mind because they're like, last time you just let me go. Why are you arresting me and now you're throwing me out of the country? It's like, well, you should not have been here in the first place.
Like, I don't understand. How does this happen? This is the most retarded thing I've ever heard.
Detained, which is an incredibly sad scene. But kind of deranged how Twitter users shoved the camera in the husband's face, with Reddit highlighting how the kid was crying. They really think if we see something sad enough, the country's just gonna forget it has law.
Yeah, guys, if don't you see this photo of this kid crying? We can't have laws anymore. They're gonna make this kid cry. Yeah, we can't have borders. Look at this sad family. It's emotional manipulation. Yeah, it is.
100% is.
It's blatant emotional manipulation that's done to cater to the lowest common denominator of the mentally. I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. The mentally incapable,
mentally weak.
It's bad emotional manipulation. Yeah. It's just more emotional blackmail. Yep. Do not care.
But after the Maryland man fiasco turned out to be a dangerous gang member, the general public doesn't know what to believe anymore. And the montages of crying families just feels manipulative. As this is the same exact ploy they tried to use back in 2019 when they cried outside empty cages in a white suit, but said absolutely nothing about the hundreds of thousands of missing kids during the Biden administration. Where even when the reporting tried to downplay the story, they admitted the missing kids are at risk. They just can't suggest that all the missing kids are in danger. So good.
Not all of them are in danger. Only some of them.
No, they have a certain percentage of acceptable losses that only exists when Trump isn't in office. But now that he is, once he tries to fix it, places like New York City will also try to block ICE.
You will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct. This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest.
There we go. All right.
You know what? The penalties just need to be bigger. I'm gonna say it. Clearly, they are not being reprimanded enough. If they're doing this more and more, it's like just increase the penalties. They used to just spend the night in prison or the week. Nope, make it 3 months minimum. Make it 6 months minimum for laying down in traffic in front of a police car. Make it a year minimum automatically. 2 years. Keep doing it until people stop doing that. That's how you stop it.
Right. This is what you love to see. Okay. Yep. Just arrest them and get rid of them. We need bigger prisons. I think so.
I agree.
On the charge of disorderly conduct.
And in Boston,
I feel like a lot of these people are unemployed anyway. So if we put them in jail and then gave them a job to do in jail that they had to do, like, wouldn't this kind of solve?
They'd be a productive member of society.
Solve two problems, right? I mean, number one, you wouldn't have to deal with them. Number two, they get work experience.
We'd have a lot more license plates being made.
Like, this is a win-win situation. Yeah, this is really good.
People are bragging about stopping them on social media.
Remember,
are you trying to bring back slavery? No, this isn't slavery.
You are the major power in your community. If you show up with people you trust quickly, you can protect kids, you can protect families. So form information networks, know where ICE is in your community, and show up. They will just leave. They are not brave enough to steal kids when an entire community comes around to protect them.
Not even aware who they are protecting.
ICE says they were surveilling a murderer's home in their car when a crowd surrounded their vehicle, blew their cover, and they had to pull off the target. Again,
These people are retarded.
murderer.
Wow. This is when
none of this will ever change until the people that are making the calls to find out and surround the car aren't being put in jail.
For a long
and I hope the
period of
government
time,
knows this.
But they don't do it again.
You are doing literally nothing because you're not solving the disease. You're only treating the symptoms. You need to cure the disease. And the disease is that these people think that they can do this and get away with it. That's it. Give them accessory to murder. Yeah. Just give them something insane. And then it would immediately stop. Prison space that fits regulations is at an all-time low. Then change the regulations. Seems pretty simple to me.
identity politics gets dangerous. Assuming police are always bad and their targets are always good is something only criminals and people that blissfully think they'll never be victimized will believe. So where exactly are they getting this idiotic ideology? From their political leaders, like this Tennessee state representative.
This is great. We've got our girl squad and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
There are two groups of people in the world that cause all of our problems.
Who's gonna say it?
Every
single time. Who's gonna say it?
It's actually impressive.
Your favorite blonde state rep. So they're probably running our information.
But even Congress people in New Jersey are doing the same. Where apparently she even shoved an ICE officer. But now
this was a a fucking insane crash out. And assaulting law enforcement. Yes, finally getting charged. Thank God. Yeah, prisons are private. Build one. Wait, you're right. That's a good idea. Yeah, wait, yeah, that's smart. Yeah, so we could call it Roach Ranch. Oh shit.
Is being charged for assault, and even Congressman Nadler's staffer was seen being arrested for allegedly harboring someone. So I really wonder how long they'll gleefully display their defiance when their friends all start getting jail sentences. As it sounds scary that this administration would start throwing politicians in prison, but they brought it up.
It's not scary. It's justified. If you break the law and you
go to prison.
do something wrong and you're tried and convicted for it, then you should go to jail.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Where did this? You're a politician. You're above the law. Rule come in. When did that start? I was never agreeing and on board with that one.
On it even, and I think this is a universal.
So we have in the chatting right now that there should be the Asmund prison. Thomas Brown says Asmund has the money. He should do it. Asmund Gold has a business opportunity to start the Asmund prisons. Gigantic holding cells for all these people.
Sole perspective. There's a lot of Democrats that felt that was unfair for Trump because they thought Trump should have gotten in more trouble for things that he did. And I think that there's a lot of Republicans and conservatives that feel like Democrats should have gotten in trouble for things that they did too, like for Hunter Biden, for example. And so this is something that everybody wants. I don't know why it doesn't happen. In all seriousness, do you really think that they should bring back prison labor? Yeah. Yeah, I do. If you can, so
well, dude, your community service is keeping his house clean. That'll stop people from breaking the law.
I'm a big advocate for this. I think it's a great idea. So if you're putting these people in jail, why wouldn't you put them to work? Why not? If you can't, like, really, why? Like, I mean, do you see how problematic that is? Well, wait a minute. Let me read your message. What about it's problematic? Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, because to me, it seems like just
he's bringing someone's message up.
So it seems like everybody wins. It seems like a perfect solution. Force them to make Apple iPhones. Oh, China not going to like that. Actually, I don't think they make those in China anymore. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck they make them. Yeah, counter-argues that research El Salvador does it. Things are fine. No, I mean, there's a lot of ways I would look at it. But let me go back. I can find it. It incentivizes arrests. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think more people should be arrested for crimes. I mean, after you see all these people that are running wild and doing all kinds of crazy stuff that are in the public, yeah, that's the point.
It will stop people from doing it more. That's literally, if there are consequences to the actions, people would stop doing it. Everyone thinks that they're like some sort of hero protecting the rights of the country. It's like, no, you're the bad guy.
I think work programs are really good, but working at a prison so they can make money is bad. Why? Why is it bad for the prison to make them work so they can pay for the prison? So you have to pay rent for your house. You have to pay a mortgage for your house. You have to pay rent for an apartment. You have to pay.
Well, not only that, but what do you expect people to do in prison? Do you want to give them a TV and a Game Boy and a gym to work out in and just basically kick back on vacation all day? Like, it shouldn't be a relaxing escape from the challenges of every day. People who aren't in prison have to bust their ass and work every day. Why should someone in prison not be in that same situation? I don't want prison to be a reprieve from that.
Like a nightly fee if you're staying at a hotel. Why is it like, where is this where it doesn't make sense? Uninformed, but that's what I've heard.
True.
Well, no, I'm just, it's a slippery slope. I know that's the goal. Well, that's the goal, right? I mean, obviously that's the goal. Because that's how you get arrested for a small-time crime and get jacked up sentences so you make them more money. Well, you realize they're doing that already, right? And also, like, so the logic here is that if you can't make it, like, these prisons already get money for prisoners to begin with. And also, I mean, should these people not be in jail? Like, obviously, yeah, there's going to be people like, so you're saying that people that are wrongfully convicted or unfairly convicted are going to have to do something bad. There's people that are unfairly convicted right now in jail. This is already happening. Like, we're talking about hypotheticals. Yeah, how many people really is this happening with, right? I mean, like, sure, yeah, maybe this will happen to a handful of people, definitely. I mean, there's always going to be collateral damage. Like, anytime that you have a rule or anytime you have a law or anything like that, you're always going to have collateral damage. Like, there's going to be people that are unfairly affected by something, no matter what it is, right? you raise the speed limit somewhere. This probably might, result in more accidents, but does that mean you shouldn't raise the speed limit? Freedom of speech causes
by the
problems,
way,
but doesn't mean
I am all for raising the speed limit everywhere, at least 5 miles per hour across the country, minimum. Potentially 10 to 15 miles an hour across the country. Let's do it.
you shouldn't have it. Every law has people that get in trouble for it. And I find that bad. I'm in a prison. Prison should be reformed, not animal penitentiary. I don't think that prison should be for reform or for punishment. I think prison
because here's the thing with the speed limits. Everyone's going over the speed limit everywhere anyways. So all it is to give police a reason to give you a ticket if they want to. It's not changing or preventing accidents. And I don't believe if you raise the speed limit 5 to 10 miles an hour, that people will then go 10 miles over that. I do not believe people would do that. I think the speed limits are ridiculously low across the country. And it's a chore to get anywhere. Yes, I have a lead foot. Sorry. I was born with it.
Should simply be
Max K says they absolutely would. I wouldn't.
To keep people out of public.
Yep, exactly.
Because really the goal that I have, I don't think about what's in the best interest of the prisoners. That's kind of irrelevant to me. What matters to me is what's in the best interest of the population.
Exactly. Speed limits are there to generate revenue. They're not to protect you. They're to generate revenue. To get ticket money. Exactly, Tarlo.
Of the society. And so if you think about what's in the best interest of the prisoners, that's nice. But when you thinking about their best interests causes the taxpayers and society to spend more money, to be less safe, I think that you are being completely unfair. And I think that you're doing something that's unethical and also immoral. Whenever you make innocent people pay and suffer more because of your perceived altruism or virtue, I don't consider this a good thing. I don't think it's a high-minded idea. I think it's dangerous. And it's actively dangerous. And you can see it being dangerous whenever you see these stories come out when some guy's been arrested 7 times. Do you think most of criminals get released back into society? Yeah, sorry for not making sense typing while I'm nervous. No, it's not a big deal. But yeah, no, I don't care whether it's for reform or punishment or anything, because the goal shouldn't be about them. Like that's like a side effect. The goal really should be how to keep everybody else safe.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're talking about people's rights and everything. People have a right to be safe, and they have a right to not have their money go towards keeping these random fucking morons in jail and not getting anything out of it.
Yep.
It's a waste. The prison's not the punishment. The punishment is the removal of their freedom. They get to live in an area outside of their control, and without them having the ability to remove themselves from the environment. Yeah. And so depends on the rate of reformation. True, man. Yeah, definitely. And that's the goal is justice for the victims. It's not even justice for the victims. The goal is making sure that the rest of everybody else is safe and these people no longer pose a threat to society. That should be the main goal.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be about getting revenge. It shouldn't be about hurting them. It shouldn't be about making them better people. All that's irrelevant. What should matter is the people that are doing the right thing, how to make sure that they are safe and that things that are happening to them are the best possible thing. Don't like it, don't commit crimes. Yeah. And also, by the way, if prison sentences are worse, less people are going to commit crimes. It's just that simple.
That's what I was saying earlier. The punishments don't fit the crimes, so people continue to do the same crime after they get out. If the punishment fit the crime, the attitudes would adjust for the most part. You always have the loopy people that will continue to be crazy no matter what. But again, that goes back to make mental institutes great again.
It's obvious. Yeah, justice for the victim doesn't make the murderer any less dangerous. Stopping the murderer does. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
That's not how it works, though. It is, actually. It is. And you'd be surprised how easy it is. And if you don't know that, you should look at El Salvador. Oh, wow. Wow. It looks like all of this contemporary high-minded knowledge is just instantly gone the moment that somebody just goes and puts everybody that causes problems in jail, and then there aren't any more problems. Wow, what a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First, they came for the MS-13 members, and then they came for, I don't know, the other gang members, and then they came for the rapists, then they came for the murderers, and then they didn't have to come for anybody anymore because there weren't any more problems. Everything was fine. That's it. Yeah. It's so fucking simple.
Yep.
Jesus. I don't know how people don't understand this. It's crazy.
Themselves when they actually.
I think it might be because there are some people just ingrained in their brains that they are just very anti-government no matter what, where the government shouldn't be involved in anything ever, which I can understand to a certain extent. But at some point, you need to enforce laws. Like you can't just be like, no, fuck the government. fuck the laws, fuck everything. Like, no, society would fall apart. You live in a fantastic situation because of what's come before you, and you are unraveling it right now because you've grown up with such a perfect life. That's the problem that people have right now. Every one of those people that's pushing back against the ICE officers, I would argue, for the most part, many of them have never actually had a struggle in their life. So they think that they're fighting for people that did have struggles, when in fact what they're doing is ruining the future of their own lives and their kids' lives.
Actually convicted Trump of several felonies. But why exactly are they so desperately
Then again, most of them don't have kids too, so
defending this, knowing the majority of Americans voted for Trump specifically for his border policies? As Congressman Burleson shows us, it's probably money.
California figured this out, that they can force the federal government to spend $9 for every $1 that it spends, and they're using it to launder money. They raise taxes on managed care companies, the companies that are providing Medicaid. So they go to these companies and say, we're going to tax you, but don't worry, we're going to give you all of the money that we just taxed you right back. And we're going to pull down federal dollars, and that'll let us have more money so that we can spend it on expanding the population for Medicaid and spend it on illegal immigrants. In fact, is spending more money in federal dollars in California that we send in federal dollars than the entire state of Florida spends in 1 year in their entire annual budget.
I'm starting to see a comment.
Ah, wow. What a surprise. Can you guys believe it? It's actually about money.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Can you believe that? Wow.
Shocking.
Theme here. Once the Democrats find an issue that the masses have more emotions about than they have knowledge about.
Imagine how evil you have to be to do that. To basically extort money out of the government.
They frame themselves as the only solution, taking unlimited amounts of tax dollars for themselves without ever solving the issue. Now apply that same equation to green initiatives, education, overseas conflicts, and now immigration.
And exactly. Many such cases, True North. I've seen, I don't know if it was 8 billion, but I wouldn't be surprised either.
Suddenly their inconsistent ethics all start to make sense.
Yeah, of course.
Don't doom scroll on social media all day when you have my concise, bite-order commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, so subscribe to Decoy Voice.
That was a great video.
I had no idea it was that bad in California, with them getting in front of the trucks and everything.
Well, to be fair, it's not in San Diego. That is just like one area of San Diego where it is like that. And this is like the really frustrating thing. Like, I see now there are people that are on the street corners of my area where I live, holding up anti-Trump signs, holding up anti-Elon signs. Every weekend, they're there for 8 to 10 hours, just holding up signs, getting people honking at them. And I'm just like, who are these people? Why don't they have jobs? And they're always older, probably retired. And I got a picture. I took a picture of them here. But this is on the street corner near my house. So look at these people. Stay calm and wage resistance. Trump tariff chaos is killing small business. Trump tariffs equal import taxes you pay. What do these people know anything about what's actually happening, or are they just taking talking points from CNN? All right, this guy's got to be retarded here in the middle. There's got to be something going. I mean, they're all probably mentally ill, but who's going to be able to read that sign, bro? The guy wrote like a fucking novel on a board. Let me zoom in on this. I don't even know if my phone can pick up the pixels on this. This shit. What the hell does that even say? Keep families together. Science is real. Vote these idiots something. Rend, resist, persist. These are the people that are pushing pro-Biden still, by the way, and anti-Trump, anti-Elon. Hands off Social Security. Oh, how about this one? Here's a good one. No human being is illegal. Oh my God. These are the people. And I'm like, are they busting these people in to where I live? Because it never used to be like that here. It never used. This was a very pro-Trump area of San Diego. And it's very strange to see it happening in the area where I live right now. Because nothing's changed. All my neighbors are still the same, and all my neighbors still feel exactly the same about what's going on right now. So, JT Boomer. Charles says, I used to live there. Yeah, you know the area. So it's happening here. But my point being is like, it shouldn't be. Like, and what I mean by that is no one who I talk to or know or live by feels this way for the most part. I mean, sure, you'll get your pockets of people here and there, but enough people to fill an entire street corner? No, there's something suspicious going on. It's almost like there's like a retirement home that's getting directives from someone in charge there to push propaganda or paid protesters. Exactly.